watching this? Don't just sit there watching. Bring the
I like
moves.
to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Physically fit, physically fit, physically, physically, physically. Woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically, physically, physically. Woman, you nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a bit Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a bit Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a bit Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a bit Titanic. Woman, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Move it! Tag your favourite players and challenge them with your goal celebrations. Players are waiting. Be active. Bring the moves.
Thank you, dear guests, for this movement to start with. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to everyone who is joining this unusual live and Q&A that WHO is hosting today from Doha, just 2 days ahead of the Football World Cup that has many, many fans around the world. But what we are doing here is we are trying to promote physical activity and sport for health. So World Health Organization, the Ministry of Public Health Qatar, and FIFA and other supporters, we are organizing our now well-known Walk the Talk for Health for All event tomorrow morning. We will talk about that more in detail because I'm not the expert, but I have experts and professional sport players who will tell you more about the importance of physical activity for your own health and how to do it. So I'm very pleased to be joined by Fiona Bull, who is WHO lead for physical activity. We also have Yasmin Debi, who is a Qatari player of rugby, and we'll hear more about her team. And we also have Dr. Youssef Al-Maslamani, who is official spokesperson for the sport and health during the FIFA World Cup on behalf of the Ministry of Public Health Qatar. So, as usual, for our viewers who are watching us on Twitter, you can use the hashtag AskWHO, and I will pass your questions to our guests. If you're watching us on other platforms, please use the comment section. And while we are waiting for questions, good afternoon. Thank you for being with us today.
Good afternoon.
Fiona, maybe we can start with you and to tell us what are the benefits of physical activity for everyone's health.
Yes, certainly. Well, a very good afternoon to you and afternoon to everyone online. WHO summarises the benefits as it's good for your heart, body and mind. And as you saw us having fun then, physical activity has got so many benefits. Let me tell you just a few. First and foremost, it's really good for your heart and prevents long-term diseases like cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and these are important because they're the leading killers of people these days. But it's also good for our bodies, for children to grow healthy, our muscles so we're strong and can prevent falls as we age, and then our mind. And I think that's become particularly important of late as we see how important it is to reduce stress, have enjoyment, relax, and physical activity can be part of all of that.
Thank you, Fiona. And I mean, it's amazing to have regular physical activity, and I think Yasmin can tell us more about that as being a professional sport. But we know that not everyone is moving regularly and enough, so maybe you can tell us about the evidence that WHO has on lack of physical activity.
Yeah, despite knowing all these benefits, WHO is very concerned about the levels of physical activity these days. In fact, we collect the data and summarise to find out how active people are. That's children and adults. And you've asked the data. Well, 1 in 4 adults are not active enough. A little more women, it's 1 in 3 women. So we're very concerned about getting more girls and women more active. And a real concern and a focus of today and going through the World Cup is promoting physical activity to children, because 80% of adolescents don't meet our recommendations. So that might surprise many people, but life is changing, phones and other sedentary activities, and we need to get more kids more active. So big data telling us we've got a big problem.
Thank you, Fiona. We'll talk in a little while as well how we can use phones and digital devices actually to help us move more. But I would go to Dr. Youssef to tell us about Qatar's efforts to promote physical activity for people living here and actually enabling them to be more active.
So thank you for the invitation. Good evening, good morning, good night to everybody. I think it's very important that the statistics speaks for themselves. So many years ago, we observed that there are less activities, people who are overweight, there is a large number of diabetes, but the statistics prove that. So in Qatar, we have 70% of the population are either overweight or obese, and the prevalence of diabetes is about 35%. And these two conditions are in Qatar a cause of many of the major diseases like cardiac disease, end-stage renal disease, and many other issues. So it was important for Qatar to improve that so that the health of the population becomes better. We see the evidence of what the government has been doing here in Al-Bida, but there are so many other open parks available, and there are walkways for walking and for cycling, for running. So we think that this is important for the population, and the population are reacting by increasing their physical activity.
Thank you so much. And I would like to go to Yasmin as well to hear about, from your professional experience, how has rugby and sport helped, how does it help with your overall health and well-being?
Hello, first of all, thank you for inviting me today. I would like to say, I would like to talk about rugby in the beginning because rugby has completely changed my life. I'm very lucky to say that I have found a sport that I love and do all the time, and I really recommend that even if you don't find a sport that you do love, you can always find an activity that you do love, whether it's walking, running, cycling, biking, playing tennis, playing basketball, playing rugby. It's very important for you to enjoy playing sports, because if you don't enjoy it, you won't do it. For me personally, I have started rugby 6-7 years ago now. I was a student who plays sports in school, sometimes outside of school, but then I started playing it professionally, daily, with a professional coach, nutritionist, started taking care of myself, and I can tell you it has completely changed my life. I became more energetic, I became more active, I started knowing what's good for me and what's not. I started eating better. It affected me also in my work, school, university, and mostly in my mental health. Sport can really reduce stress. It can take you somewhere no one else can take you, or it's just it's kind of a getaway. So yeah, sport is everything really, and first of all, I invite everybody to come tomorrow to Al-Bida Park. We will have a rugby stand set up, having some drills, some rugby balls. I invite girls as well. I will be here tomorrow. The whole team will be here. Qatar national team will be here tomorrow, and they all are accepting all age group, females and males, to be with us, to have some fun and to be active.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. And we got a question while you were talking about the importance of sport for health, and one very important that you highlighted is as well mental health, and how it helps you to maintain your good overall health and well-being. But as you mentioned, the Walk the Talk event, maybe Dr. Youssef, you can tell us, because you're also from here, how participants can find us, those who live here, but also those who are already arriving to support their national teams playing at the World Cup.
Thank you for that question. We are in MOPH are
Very proud to be part of this activity with the WHO. So tomorrow we will be here from 8 to 11. There'll be many activities, including the rugby activities. So I would like invite everybody to come to register on the Ministry of Public Health website today, and come tomorrow from 8 to 11. We have so many activities, and so we'd like to see you, and we'll enjoy our time, and we'll spend a very good few hours together.
Thank you so much. I would just like to add that it starts around 8 a.m. So it's an early morning activity, but it's probably good to get active from the beginning of the day. Fiona, there will be another among all of these activities, we'll have a launch of an app. So this is the good use of digital technologies to help us move more and bring the moves. Can you tell us where participants can find the app for those who won't be in Doha with us this month?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting day, not only for the walking opportunity, a 3 and 5K walk that we can do together and have fun seeing and learning other activities, but tomorrow WHO, along with the Ministry of Public Health and FIFA, will be launching Gen Move Season 1. And it really builds off, we're just talking about the generation that's becoming less active and the impact of COVID. Gen Move can be found on Get Gen Move, that's the web address, and it's a digital app, and what's different is it gets you moving and not just your thumbs. It's a set of really new innovative games, and it uses AI and augmented reality, so you are immersed in the games to play, jump, skip and have fun being active. It's going to be launched tomorrow here at the main stand at around 8:30. We'd love to see many people come and have a go because we're setting it up, but you can already have a go at home online, and you can do this in really small spaces, indoor or outdoors. So lots more to tell you about, but hope we'll see lots of people tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Fiona. I believe we're going to play the video of the app. This is a teaser to what you can access from tomorrow, no matter where you are. You don't need to be in Doha for that. But for those in Doha, we will have a simulation. We'll have a giant tablet here, so you can jump around and follow the app for the moves. As Fiona said, you're not going to move your thumbs only. You will need to move all your body to play this game. So we are back. I hope you enjoyed this teaser, and please visit the Gen Move
Get Gen Move
website tomorrow or download the app.
Can I tell you, it's available on Apple and Android and on most phones, so it's free. So if anyone's worried about it costing, it's being brought to you by Ministry of Public Health, WHO and FIFA. Free and available. Have fun.
Thank you, Fiona. And maybe one thing, you mentioned that this is a season 1.
Yeah.
So can you please explain what do we mean by that?
Yeah, because this is going to be an ongoing initiative, and really the innovation is looking at how we can use digital tools for good and for health, so part of mobile health technology. WHO has been partnering with a digital tech sport company to develop this, and after season 1, which is being brought to you aligned with the World Cup, then it will move into season 2, and I'm sure it's going to have many more games and many other opportunities. But WHO and Ministry of Health are partnering on season 1.
Thank you, and our users as well can write us comments on social media if you have suggestions on how we can make the app better. Yasmin, did you want to add something? Sorry.
Not really. I'm actually really surprised by this app. I think we especially in Qatar here, I think like everyone knows, Qatar is trying their best to open more parks, to make ways for people to use bikes more, to walk. The fact that the Corniche Street, for example, is closed for vehicles, that means that if you want to see anything inside, you gotta move, you have to walk together as a family, as friends, make it a good time, and yeah, let's enjoy the World Cup together, moving together.
Of course. You sound surprised about it being digital, but I agree totally. The parks that are being built here, and we want more people to find, as you said, what they enjoy. Remember that COVID told us and showed us how sometimes we can't move and we can't get out, and that was one of the inception ideas. What do you do if? And also then where it's not safe, and some people don't have access to a park. So we're trying to shift the narrative about the phone always being seen as a negative, and it is where kids are. So it's twisting that and saying kids are on phones, let's get it for good and let's get kids more active. But hopefully get them enjoying a sport so they then join and get the benefits of many other ways to be active.
Or if it's getting too hot to exercise outside, then this is the time when you can use the app. Yeah. Dr. Yusuf, we've learned that you walk 15,000 steps every day. Can you tell us a bit about your routine?
Okay. So what happened is a few years ago, my younger brother called me in the evening and told me, I have high blood sugar. This made me next day go fasting to work to do my blood sugar, and unfortunately it was borderline. So I decided from that day that I have to increase my exercise, I have to reduce how much I eat every day, and I changed my routine completely. So from that day, I bought a watch that counts the steps. So I include all this in my daily routine. So I walk 15,000 steps. I climb 30 flights of stairs every day, and try to complete. 15 steps actually equates 10 kilometers of walk. And by doing that, I dropped my weight. So my BMI was about 27. By doing that, in about 1 year, I dropped 20 kilograms, and my BMI went to normal. And my blood sugar, actually after 5 kilograms, my weight, my blood sugar came to normal. But I said, I'll start it, so I have to finish. So I completed, and I dropped about 20 kilograms.
Well done. I think this is a great example for everyone out there that is possible to, when you make a decision, it's possible to make it a routine every day. But Fiona, maybe as well you can remind our viewers on WHO's recommendations of how active we should be every day or every week.
Yeah, thank you very much. We certainly have got global guidelines, and we encourage countries to develop their national guidelines, but all of the evidence is summarised, and for adults we recommend 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity, so the kind of walking that we've just heard Yusuf do, a week. So you can break it down into 30 or 40 minutes a day, and we encourage that because the benefits across the days is good as well. For children, it's an hour on average a day. So we know children might be a bit more active on the weekends or a bit less active on a particular school day. So on average, an hour a day. And this is based on all of the science and all of the recommendations. We didn't want to make a recommendation for X and a recommendation for Y because it would just confuse everyone. But based on science, expert opinion, and we launched them in 2020. And if people want to know out more, they're on our website, and there's summary documents as well in 6 languages too.
So there is something else that I'd like to add. I made movements part of my routine. So when I park at work, I park at a parking that's 600 meters from my office. So every day I walk 1.2 kilometers without an effort to the office and back.
Yeah.
And the stairs. My trip to Australia, I was given a room in the 13th floor. So my first question, can I use the stairs?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is what I do. I never use the elevators. I always use the stairs. I always park, and when I go shopping, at the furthest point so that I can walk more.
That's really important because you're showing how you build it in. It doesn't have to be this block of time. And one of the things we hear frequently is, I haven't got time. And yet you've just illustrated little bits here. And that's another really important point. Little bits add up. And we summarised all of that science with every move counts. And I think you'd agree, adds up, every move counts. So everyone can just find small ways every day.
Thank you so much, Fiona. And as you said, the information is out there on our website, but also tomorrow during the Walk the Talk event that's taking place in Doha, we will also use our social media channels to inform the public again of WHO recommendations and ideas from the ground on how people can be active. Yasmin, I would like to ask you, as you are a player of a national team and you explain how rugby and sport is important for you as an individual, but I think it would be interesting for our viewers to hear, what is your motivation to be part of this conversation today, to support Walk the Talk and these initiatives to raise awareness about sport and physical activity globally?
First of all, as I said, rugby, to be honest, to share it with everybody, is a sport that came on my way. I never grew up playing rugby. I've never planned to be an athlete or to play sports professionally, but it came. I tried the sport. As I said, go out there and try new sports. You never know what happens. You might fall in love with a sport just like I did. And since then, since 2015, 2016, I never stopped playing rugby. So my motivation for myself is that when I got into this competitive sport, I started playing tournaments, I started experiencing winning, experiencing losing, started having a team, or let me say a family other than my family. I started having a community. I started feeling like I belong somewhere. All of this adds up to a really not a stress relief, but a purpose as well. I feel like whoever goes to work in the morning, let's say, or at night, you have all of these responsibilities, home responsibilities. When you play sports, it releases all of the, you go somewhere else, as I said. It really, and also you figure out more things about yourself. I did not know that I was capable of doing so many things, especially in tournaments. When I watch myself after games, or when I score a try, or when I tackle a big tackle, I'm proud of myself. I feel good. My team is proud of me. I'm proud of my team. So this is my motivation. Every training session is my motivation. My teammates are my motivation. Rugby is my motivation. So yeah, sport in general is my motivation.
So let me add a medical point to your feelings.
So the feelings are because there is release of the happy chemicals, the endorphins and the enkephalins, and this is why you get this feeling. So in addition to the other benefits, this is a very important part of exercise.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Yusuf, before we come to the closing of this conversation, we've learned that Qatar has a national day of sports. So can you tell us, how do you celebrate the day?
So last week,
So it's a national holiday, and the ministry has its own activity. I usually part of that activity, but I have my own personal activity. Last year I wanted to climb 100 stairs in a day, and by 2 p.m. I completed the 100 stairs. So I do this. I put to myself a challenge, and I do it on the National Sports Day.
Thank you so much. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the very popular global tournament, Football World Cup, is starting in 2 days. How, in your opinion, this event is important to promote physical activity and sport for health? Who would like to start? Dr. Yusuf, maybe you can start as a host.
So probably I think the previous sporting events, mega sporting
events, I feel that they were deficient. Because as we described, there is a very important relationship between sports and health. And by combining these together, you are empowering the public, maybe especially women, to be more involved into the activities. And one important part that people forget to talk about is it decreases the risk of cancer. So being part of interactivity, the endorphins, the enkephalins, the family feeling that everybody that plays your sport is part of your family is an important issue.
Thank you so much. And Fiona, actually, we just got a question that I think it's important to pass to you from Veronica Douglas. She's asking about what digital technology in hands and less physical activity outdoors, etc., and lifestyle, how can schools help in motivating kids to be more active?
Great question. Thank you so much for it. Schools play a really important role, as well as parents and the local community. But in schools, firstly, I mean, it's where children often get the first introduction to their physical education, and they learn new sports. And you were telling me earlier about your earlier career in basketball. Physical education and school can introduce children to all sorts of activities, and it's really important there's that diversity and build confidence and enjoyment. So there is a global policy of quality physical education for all children. But it's not just the physical education, so if you'll allow me, how kids get to and from school, it's another great opportunity for walking and cycling. It can also help address the air pollution and climate change, so less cars. Where it's possible, walking and cycling to school. Then the real fun. What about physical activity in classes? Learning maths and geography, moving around the class. And these ideas are done in many schools, and we're sharing those ideas. And then lastly, of course, school sport. But we really urge that school sport is provided to give everyone a chance. So I know that we tend to train and find the best players for teams, but it's also really important to give everyone a chance so that everyone can carry on playing. So schools are really important, but let's not say it's only schools, because what parents think and do is really important. So being active with kids as parents, and the community, we've got to provide beautiful parks like this and similar elsewhere, so everyone can be active free locally. So
thank you so much, Fiona. And I just remember, Yasmin, you mentioned you actually joined rugby team when you were student.
Yes.
You played sports at school, so maybe you can share your example, as we already got a question about how schools can be part of motivating children and young people to play sports.
Of course, as a student, I got introduced to sports there in school. I used to play all types of sports, which I think most of kids do. After that, I was playing more basketball. I found it more enjoyable for myself, but only in school. And then after that, when I was like 16 years old, I got introduced to rugby, as I mentioned before. And I just went because I wanted to start playing sports outside of school. I wanted to have it in my daily routine. So I went and I got introduced to rugby. I've seen the rugby ball for the first time here in Qatar in 2016. We actually, maybe few people don't know about this, but we have 2 or 3 clubs in Qatar open completely to everyone, especially to women. As a part of Qatar national team for women's, I personally invite anyone who is interested in even just learning about the sport. You don't have to do it competitively. It can be also a social sport. We have social tournaments for fun, for you to get to enjoy the game. I swear, we have, like in the club itself, sometimes when we play socially, we have moms playing with their kids at the same team or against each other. It's such a fun family sport. But if you're also interested in it more than that, and if you feel like you can do more, play competitively, also we are welcoming everyone. So come down tomorrow again and enjoy it with us. Yeah, just have a go.
Thank you. And maybe one last question I'll take from Harumi Alexa Saisho Leon. I hope I pronounced that well. How can we avoid the use of phones in children and focus more on outdoor activity? Fiona, do you have a recommendation?
Make it fun. I mean, it's got to be fun. Children will do and often are naturally active. I actually think the question is, how can we stop parents stopping children being active? We know it's so important. We know children enjoy it. Find the activities you and your family enjoy, and then it's easy, really.
I think it's a job of the parents. They should be a role model. They are the one who should start walking, moving, doing their exercise every day, and children actually copy what their parents do.
Thank you so much. I will go back to the last question. Dr. Yusuf already responded, but I'll go back to ladies and ask you, how do you think, or why do you think FIFA World Cup is important to raise, an important opportunity to raise awareness about physical activity around the world?
First of all, let's talk about the World Cup happening here in Qatar. As everyone knows, it's the first time the World Cup happens in an Arab country. It's just the fact that we're all here in this park right now, having this opportunity to have such an event, to invite people to come, to try different sports while we're having a football event, is already an achievement. Qatar has been always inviting people to play sports. This is why we have Qatar Sports Day. For rugby, for example, on that day, we do a beach rugby in Qatar. Not only rugby, there's all type of sports. Everyone comes and try new sports. So, I mean, Qatar takes advantage of every sports event to invite people to play sports. So, World Cup is just another event that we're happy to have, and we're inviting people to share and play sports together.
Thank you. And Fiona, beyond Qatar and the fans who will be here, why do you think this is an important opportunity to promote physical activity?
Well, events like the World Cup are just wonderful opportunities, and football being the most popular sport is a particularly wonderful opportunity. But this is an occasion where we can enjoy the football on the pitch, but we can see ways that we can participate. So we know that sport creates that excitement and creates the interest. So we hope that through the Bring the Moves and the Gen Moves and the Get Active messages, people will leave this games really remembering that they can do it and they want to do it. And so the catalyst, really, I see the World Cup being a global catalyst to get more people more active.
It's a global catalyst to bring the moves. So I will end with reminding everyone, if you missed it yesterday, that we launched Bring the Moves social media challenge. So please check our social media channels or FIFA World Cup channels. you will see the guidance video on how you can make your moves and challenge your favorite players who will be playing for the next month here to celebrate their goals with the moves that you are suggesting. So please, as Fiona mentioned, every move counts. So bring your moves, no matter where you are, to Qatar, to your players. We will support as well in amplifying the most challenging and the most interesting ones or different ones throughout the month. And last but not least, we have more initiatives here and promoting them globally, why sport is important for health, and as Yasmin shared her experience, how it helps with her mental health. So we also have initiative with friendship benches. If you are in Doha, wherever your team is playing around the stadium, there is a bench for every team, so please visit, have a conversation, have a photo, share it further and spread the word about the importance of mental health. It is okay not to be okay, but what is more important is to offer help and to talk about your feelings, challenges to someone you trust. So it's important for our body, heart and brain, as Fiona mentioned, and that includes our mental health. So thanks everyone, and please don't forget, get Gen Move from tomorrow. I think it's 7 a.m. Doha time, 9 a.m. Central European time, and also bring the moves to Doha using your digital channels. This is one more way to be active while we are also connected to our screens. Thank you and goodbye.
Guided perfect. Suleiman Tahir through to Jan, who's onside. It's Asamoah Jan, it's 2-1.
Hey, are you watching this? Don't just sit there watching. Bring the moves.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Physically fit, physically. Woman, physically fit, physically. Woman, you nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fantastic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Woman, you nice, sweet, fine, energetic. Bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. Come on. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Move it! Tag your favourite players and challenge them with your goal celebrations. Players are waiting.